Production of Oreanda RM-204S started in 1989 on a Field factory situated in Simferopol. These units would come in two colors, black and red, and another difference between these units in their own range is lack of tape counter and two microphones, which got removed later to cut costs. And as for the mechanism, despite it looking interesting, the principle is very simple. We have a DC motor, which drives the flywheel and few other cogs, and we have a solenoid. When we choose the mode, solenoid pulls a lever, kicks the mechanism into the gear, and the worm gear spins, moving the levers, engaging the modes. Maximum power output, 2 channels, 5 watts each, and as stated on the speakers themselves, it's 9 watts but only in peak. Wow and flutter is less than 0.25%. Frequency response range for the ferric and chrome tapes not thinner than from 63 to 10,000 Hz. And let's talk about the features. On the front panel we have two knobs for the radio. This one is for better adjustment on the shortwave, and this one is for all of them at the same time in different modes. This huge panel has a lot of selectors. This one selects tape decks as source. This one is for Soviet range FM. These three selectors here are used for tuning in into pre-tuned stations on the back. So I have here, well, the signal is a bit weak here. The second one and the third one. Further we have long wave. There is nothing right now. Medium wave and short wave, which works but a bit worse. Here we have Apache, which stands for basically automatically tuning into the correct frequencies. So if I go onto FM, you can hear how it automatically tunes into the correct station. If I disable it, it will lose the signal and I will have to do that manually. And it holds onto the station really well. This selector here in the end is a mono switch. Why is it useful? Well, if you have a really weak signal, you can't have stereo until you get a better signal, and this station doesn't support stereo. And this one is the only station in St. Petersburg that supports FM stereo in this range. I can say about this radio tuner, it's really nice. It has good reception if you extend the antenna properly. It has really nice feature of tuning in, and in stereo mode it mutes the hiss while you are looking for a station. So let's get to the main feature of this unit. Is a double tape deck. I had to replace one of the tape heads with a different one because the original one lost its contact completely, so it wasn't giving any signal into the left channel. Here is a switch which will turn on playback on this deck when this deck auto stops. So let me show you this. Emulate that without the cassette. And as you can see, it does it automatically. Next we have our selector of tape type for this deck, and here's another one for this deck. Next is choosing a microphone input as an input for recording. And the next button here is selecting radio as a source for recording a tape. And further we have recording mute button, which is used to skip commercials on the radio, such stuff. If you don't want it onto the tape, you can just hold the button. Further we have our low battery indication, and the batteries are a bit low, so it's shining. It has two separate power switches. This one is for using batteries, and this one is for using AC power in. You can turn on both, but only one will work, obviously. And the unit has indication for using AC power here, but it's not on right now since I'm not using AC power. And you probably did notice that the unit does not have any push buttons, like more simple mechanisms, and it's all electronic, which was one of the main selling points of this unit. And of course, a big advantage of such system is that you can have automatic track search. And track search doesn't really want to work on a Soviet tape because it has too much friction inside. It's fine. But keep in mind that the pause between two tracks has to be 3 or 4 seconds, or even a bit longer. And here we have our second deck, which can be used the same way. It can playback, it also has automatic track search, but the main reason why it's here is first of all for the tape duplication, unfortunately only on normal speed. It has a separate button here for the synchro start. And of course, it can record from the radio, it can record from the external output, which it has inputs for on the back. First of all, you have to go into the radio mode and lower the volume so we don't go deaf. Hit recording in radio mode and press play.
Район города, то сад тоже получил название Октябрьский сад. Больше знают его как детский парк Октябрьского района, но был период, когда он назывался Октябрьский сад.
Кстати, тот сад, о котором мы говорим, тоже так.
And what do we have here on the back? AC in, which is not supposed to look like this, but I don't have a proper replacement for this. Speaker sockets, and one of them is replaced by me. This is headphones socket, and these two are two line outs. One from the radio block and one from the tape amplification block. I'm not sure why would you need them separate, but we have this option here, and this one is line in, and these sockets are for external antennas, which will greatly increase the reception. And here on the back, catches, so you can wind the unused length of wire around them, so when you are carrying this thin around, you don't have them flying around everywhere. On the inside we have a block structure again, which we are familiar with. The top board is for the radio and amplification for the speakers. A bit lower one is for the pre-amplification of recording and playback mode for the tape, and the lowest one is a power supply with a toroidal power transformer for the minimal interference. And of course everything is socketed, so you can take every single board without the other boards. And here on the front we can have a good look at our mechanisms with already replaced tape head. They still have a bit of damage which I wasn't able to fix without spare parts. Notice that both tape mechanisms have this erase magnet. It is connected here, but it's not connected here, but it's a real erase magnet. And what is common for the radio block here, it is driven with a string, which is a common practice for this kind of radios.